A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Our today's topic is central limit theorem. What is central limit theorem? What are the 3 points of central limit theorem, and how would we prove each point? So we are going to discuss today the central limit theorem. Central limit theorem, we use central limit theorem when we have a population which is not normally distributed. So what do? We take all the possible samples from that population and calculate the mean of each sample, and then we use each mean of all the possible samples as the value of random variable. So let's do it on the board. CLT or central limit theorem, RAM. There are 3 points of this theorem, and we have to prove each and every point with example. And central limit theorem is used, as I have already said, that when the population is not normally distributed, then we go for central limit theorem. So the first point is, although the population is not normally distributed, the sample means the samples, all the possible samples means will tend to follow the normal curve. Number 2, the grand mean, G mean of the sample means will always be equal to the population mean mu. And the third point is the measures of variability IA, BI, LITY. The measure of variability of the sample means will always be less than the population measure of variability. Measure of variability. Variability could be variability, it could be standard deviation or variance. Now let's prove all the points one by one. The first point, when the population, for example, I have this population 1, 2, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. This population is not normally distributed. The reason is, if we plot these values on the curve 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, the frequency of each value is equal to 1. This is the frequency, and these are observation, the x. So it has got 1, 2, and 3. There is no value which has a frequency of more than 1. So here it is one frequency, it is also one frequency. If we draw a curve, it is like this, it becomes a straight line. It becomes a straight line. It does not look like a curve. It does not look like a normal curve. So this population, it means this population is not normally distributed. So what will we do? First, we take all the possible samples and then we calculate the means of all samples. Let's do it. 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. This is the population. All the very small population, but that is just for explaining explanation purpose, so that you can understand the concept. Now the possible samples are 1, 3, 1, 5, 1, 7, 1, 9, 3, 5, 3, 7, 3, 9, 5, 7, 5, 9, and then 7, 9. So all the possible samples are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. These are the possible samples. Now, if we calculate the mean of all the sample, that will become 1 plus 3 divided by 2, that will be equal to 2. 1 plus 5 divided by 2, that will be equal to 3. 1 plus 7 divided by 2, that will be equal to 4. And 1 plus 9 divided by 2, that will be equal to 5. 3 plus 5 divided by 2 will be equal to 4. 3 plus 7 divided by 2 will be equal to 5. 3 plus 9 divided by 2 will be equal to 6. 5 plus 7 divided by 2 will be equal to 6. 5 plus 9 divided by 2 will be equal to 7. And 7 plus 9 divided by 2 will be equal to 8. Now, if we plot all these means, whether it looks like a normal curve or not. If it looks like a normal curve, then the first point is proof that although the population is not normally distributed, the sample means will tend to follow the normal curve. So let's do it. This is the frequency 1, 2, 3, and these are the sample means. Samples means, which we consider as values of a random variable. So here 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8. 2 has a frequency of 1, 3 has a frequency of 1, 4 has a frequency of 2 over here. 5 has a frequency of 2, 6 has a frequency of 2, 7 has a frequency of 1, and 8 has a frequency of 1. Now, if we connect these points, it becomes like this. So, although it is not a perfect normal curve, but it looks like a normal curve. So, what does that mean? That if the population is not normally distributed, and if you take all possible samples from that population and take means of all the samples and consider those means as values of the random variables and then plot it, then it will look like, will tend to follow the normal curve, means it will look like a normal curve. So probably you can convert your not normally distributed population into a normally distributed population through this method. Now we have to go ahead for the second point to be proved. The second point is mean of all means of the grand mean of the sample mean will always be equal to the population mean mu. Now do it. 1, let's do it. 3, 5, 7, and 9, which is a population. If we add up, it becomes 4, 5, 9, 16, and 9, that is 25. And if we divide it on the number of observation, which is 5, that becomes 5. So the mean of this population is equal to 5. Now let's calculate the mean for the sample mean, which is the grand mean of the sample mean, and that is 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4, because 4 has a frequency of 2 frequency, plus 5 plus 5 has also got a frequency of 2, plus 6 has also got a frequency of 2, plus 7 and plus 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So all these are the sample means of the 10 samples, and divided by 10, that will become 8 or 7, 15, 21, 27, 32, 37, 41, 45, and then 50. If you divide 50 by the number of observation, and the number of observations are 10, that will become 5. So the grand mean of the sample mean is equal to 5. Now you have proved that the grand mean of all the possible sample means will always be equal to the population mean mu. Here we calculated the population mean mu, which is 5, and from all the possible samples, that is 10 samples, we first calculate the mean, and then we calculated the grand mean for these 10 samples. So that also becomes 5. So the grand mean of the sample mean will always be equal to the population mean mu. So we have proved the second point as well. Now let's do the third point. And the third point is measure of variability. So measure of variability means the variance and the standard deviation. So we do it 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. If we calculate the mean, the mu, that is equal to 5. We have already done it. And the mean of the grand mean of the sample mean, which is 2, 3, 4, these are the sample means. 4, 5, 5. I have changed the order because 4 is not followed by 4, but I have changed the order. It has got a frequency of 2, so I have written as 4, 4, and 5, 5, 6, 6. And these are 10 sample means. So first, the mean of the population, mu minus x bar is equal to 1 minus 5 is equal to minus 4, 3 minus 5 is equal to minus 2, 5 minus 5 is equal to 0, 7 minus 5 is equal to 2, and 9 minus 5 is equal to 4. If we add up, that will become 0. Just to avoid 0, what do? We take square of these values. X minus, sorry, ये x minus mu, और यहाँ पर भी ये x minus mu है, x minus mu, because this is the mean. You have to subtract the mean from the observation. And if we take square of these, that will become square. So that will become 16, 4, 0, 4, 16. And if we add up sigma x minus mu whole square is equal to 16 or 1632 and 8, 40. 40. Now the formula for standard deviation of the population is equal to sigma x minus mu whole square divided by n minus 1, which is equal to and under the root 40 divided by n minus 4 is 4, and that will become 10. And if you take the square root of this, then it becomes what? If you take the square root of 10, 3.16. So it becomes now it becomes 3.16. So this is the standard deviation of the population. Now let's do it for the sample. The x double bar or grand mean is equal to 5. Subtracted from it, 2 minus 5 is equal to minus 3. 3 minus 3 is equal to 0. 4 minus 3 is equal to 1. 4 minus, sorry, 5. 3 minus 5 is equal to minus 2. 4 minus 5 is equal to minus 1. Or फिर 4 minus 5 is equal to minus 1. 5 minus 5 is equal to 0. 5 minus 5 is equal to 0. 6 minus 6 is equal to 0. 6 minus 6 is equal to 0. 7 minus 6 is equal to 1. And 8 minus 6 is equal to 2. Now taking square of this, if we take the square of this, then it becomes 9, 4, 1, 1, 0, 0. 6 minus 5 is equal to 1. 6 minus 5, sorry, is equal to 1. So it becomes 1, 1, and then 1. 7 minus 5 is equal to 2. So that becomes 4. And this is 4. Now if we take the sum x bar minus x double bar square is equal to 4, 4, 8, 10, 10 or 2, 12, 12 or 4, 16, 16 or 9, 25. So it becomes 25. And if you divide it where the standard deviation of the sample mean is equal to this divided by n minus 1. So that becomes divided by 9 under the root. So 25 divided by 9 is equal to mobile. 25 divided by 9 2.7 and then under root 1.66. So it becomes plus minus 1.66. So this is the standard deviation or measure of variability of the sample means, and you can compare it with plus minus 3.16. There is a big difference between these two. And the third point of the central limit theorem says that if the population is not normally distributed and you take all the samples, all possible samples, then calculate the mean, and then calculate the standard deviation for the population and standard deviation for the sample means, the sample standard deviation, the sample mean standard deviation will always be less than the population standard deviation. So the population standard deviation is plus minus 3.16, and the sample mean standard deviation is 1.66. So it is proved that whenever a population is not normally distributed, we take all the possible samples and then we calculate the measure of variability for both the not normally distributed population and all the possible means of the samples. The sample means, the standard deviation for the sample mean will always be less than the population standard deviation. So this is all about the central limit theorem. And if you have any question, regarding central limit theorem, you can give me your feedback and I can further explain it to you people so that you can better understand the concepts. Thank you very much. Please share this video with the maximum learner, with maximum your colleagues, your friends, so that they can benefit of this video if they like, or if they can easily pick what I have discussed regarding central limit theorem. So that is an honor for me to spread this video among many participants, many learners, so that they can benefit of this video-based lecture. Thank you.